Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. It's Friday the 26th of September 2025. Yep, I'm still alive and kicking. Don't worry, it's been a little while since the last video, and in fact in the last 2 or 3 months it's been a bit sparse, I think, since we attended BSA 31 earlier in the summer. Well, here we are now in the autumn. But I have been keeping fairly busy, and we have got lots to do coming up. So the most recent thing was that I attended the BSA Owners Club White Lightning Rally on the Isle of Wight from the 12th to the 15th of September. Took the B25 SS. First time I've been to that rally. We combined it with a tour of the Isle of Wight as well for the week before, so I didn't take any clips of the event itself, just a few stills and that. But anyway, we're back in the garage with things to do, and it's rather busy in here at the moment. So let me take you around each of the bikes and do a quick stable update, and at the same time what I need to do as well is fire up these as well to keep the oil out of the sump. So that includes the Rocket 3 here, the A75 is the other side of it, and the B25 SS at the back there. The Aerial 3's running, but that obviously doesn't sump its oil. Well, we hope it doesn't anyway, being a 2-stroke. So let me zip around the back bikes and we'll give a quick stable and event update. Right, firstly, Rocket 3. So this has been out and about this year at exhibits, Founders Day, Triumph Factory, and nothing to report really. Running well, fairly clean, and not sure about what we're going to do next with this, other than the fact that you know, it's always the backstop road going machine. As touch wood, she's pretty reliable. I had one issue at Founders Day, but that's because she'd been in the rain there quite a lot, and I think we got a bit of water in the carbs, etc. But once I'd sorted that out, changed the plugs and that, she was away again, and we're all good. So let's give her a quick fire up just to get her oil back up into the tank, because she does sump a little bit. But as long as you run these every 2 to 3 weeks or whatever, they're okay. Next up, 750 Lightning A70. All good, nothing to report. Except I'm going to do a separate little video on this, because actually I do have something to report. And that is as part of the... we're still shaking this down, and I still don't trust it yet. But we've done a bit of work recently in trying to trace a minor problem, and I think we've cracked it. And it was just, as usual, you know, the bleeding obvious. But it is running well now. Nothing to fettle, really. So anyway, let's see if she now fires up too. Tacho's not working. I forgot to mention, yeah, the tacho's not working. So we've got that to investigate, which isn't too much of an issue. It's either the cable, I don't think it's going to be the instrument, but it's either the cable or it could be the drive. But that's not too difficult to get at. So that's something, a little job we've got to do on this. But as I say, there's something else that we found recently that I'll do a separate video of, and include us probably investigating that tacho issue as well then. Right, fuel off, ignition off, just check, on, off, right, okay. Next. Right, Fury, the Fury Roadster. This is the ex-press release demonstrator, if you like. No engine internals, just to remind people that haven't seen this before. This is the one the factory built for the press launch on November the 10th, 1970 at the Royal Lancaster Hotel. Never had any internals, and the intention originally when I bought it in 1992 was to try and get the internals, some of which are readily available, like pistons, conrods, primary drive, and get it running. But then we got enough built parts from an ex-bike and other bits and pieces to build that. More of that in a minute. Anyway, nothing to report on this really. It's pretty clean and tidy, that's all we want to do. This is factory unrestored, factory paint, original unrestored. So we're just trying to keep that in good order as a reference model, if you like. And it's not been out this year. I don't think it was last out at the October Stafford show last year when both the Furies were there on the BSA Owners Club stand. But she's had a bit of a quiet year while other bikes take centre stage. But still continue to rubber down and stuff, and make sure we can keep the components in good order as a reference point. Next. Right, the BSA B25 SS Goldstar 250 SS flamboyant blue example. It was originally flamboyant blue. We've got the original tank for it, but it's it looks like a sieve. So as those of you who've been following the channel this year will appreciate, we've been trying to get the paint back up to a flamboyant blue effect, and it's come out pretty well on the tank and side panels. We've yet to do the rear mudguard in the same colour, but that won't take too much. We've got this light to do as well. As you can see, the silver paint is crazed, but that's pretty straightforward too. So we've got that job to do on it. The front mudguard is an original factory one, and it's not, I think it's aircraft blue. I don't think it's flamboyant blue. It's not quite the same. But I'm minded to leave that because it's factory, and it's got the Fablon stick-on white stripe that's not painted. A bit like the Fury of the same year. This is this stick-on Fablon stuff that they used to have at the time before, vinyl and stuff. I suppose it, precursor of vinyl. So I don't want to really destroy that. And it's not far off the right colour, honest gov. So we'll probably keep it. But other than that, the bike is running well, and this is the one we took to the Isle of Wight BSA Owners Club White Lightning Rally, and ran it there. It's running really well.
But there is something to do on it other than, you know, paint jobs and cosmetics, which is sort of a rolling job. And that is, I want to take that carb off and check it, because she doesn't rev, she runs really well, sort of bottom end, mid-range. Top end, she doesn't rev as freely as she should. Not that I don't want to test that too much. And also she ticks over, but she bogs when you try and lift it off tick over. And the pilot air screw on the carb is only out about half a turn. That's, you know, that's wrong. So I don't think there's something wrong with that carb. It's a relatively new carb, I think. I think it is the extended tickler one, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But it's not a Premier, so it's just a standard later Mark 1 concentric. So we'll take that off and we'll have a look at it, because we've got all the kit to sort that out. And I've got a funny feeling pilot jet might be blocked a little, or the float height is wrong, or it's jetted wrong. Nothing fundamental. Right, let's give this a little go. So I know she's probably still a little bit cold, but that's sort of a demo of what she does. She ticks over really nicely once she's warmed up a little bit, and then as soon as you put roll on the throttle, she just bogs and dies. But she is running really well. Touch wood. And also, God, she holds her oil pressure really well. So we're still turned on at the moment, even though I've stalled it. And the oil pressure warning light takes an age to come on. So that's good news. If I turn it off and turn it on again, see, it's still not there. I suppose I'm running a fairly thick oil in it, but you know, compared to the other bikes where the oil light comes on fairly quickly after they stop running, such as the Rocket 3 and the Lightning, this one takes an age. Shall we just wait? We are still turned on, aren't we? Yeah. You know, grab yourself a cup of tea or whatever while we're just waiting for this. It will come on. He hopes. You know, have a biscuit with a cup of tea. Am I going mad? Well, I'll try and hold that there while I just check the ignition. It is still turned on. I can show that because I can put the lights on too. There we go, lights on. So we're still on. Lights off, but still turned on. Are you going to come on? Or have we indeed got a fault? I'm going to do an off, on. Still not on. If it doesn't come on soon, I'll be going and videoing another bike while we're waiting. Hey! Amazing. So, and as you heard as well, the engine for one of these is very quiet, but the tappets have been adjusted using the Rupert ratio method, like a Dave Smith, i.e. Almost if no clearance at all, just making sure the push rods turn in your fingers. Apparently that's the way to quieten them down a lot, and it is a very quiet motor, so we can't complain. Right, enough of that. Fuel off, ignition is off, on, off, good. Right, next, Aerial 3. I had this out about 3 weeks or so ago. Took a while to get it going, but it hadn't been run for quite a long while. You'll probably remember, maybe it was last year or a bit earlier, then we had all sorts of fuel flow problems on it because the tank was just full of rubbish and a deposited along the extended, it's a really long fuel line on this from the tank right the way to the carb, which is the back of the motor underneath there, and also in the carb itself. But we cleaned all that out, lined the tank, and once I got it going, the last time I ran it, she was running well and starting up quickly after that. So we need to do some videos on this, really, now we've got all the kit. But that's it. I'm not going to start that here now. I'll have to dig it out the garage or jack it up and God knows what, so we won't do that now, but another time. And finally, the Fury SS. Right, so again, those of you who have been watching will know that this ran and was ridden at BSA 31, and we're still on with, if you shake down dilapidation, etc. So the thing we're investigating now is it's got oil pressure when it's running, but I don't think, well, we don't know at the moment, but I'm just investigating the fact that the oil light is coming on tick over, even though we're using a straight 40 on it. So I've got some ideas, but this will be the subject of a separate video. The other things that we found during the first rides is that the clutch is slipping, and also, unless we've done something fundamentally wrong in the gearbox, first gear is extremely high, but it was difficult to change gear as well when we were rolling along. Yeah, it makes you wonder whether I've got the cadence correct on the selector cam. Anyway, I'm thinking about it now, which is the wrong thing to do. I've started investigating the low oil pressure. I've got some ideas around that. It can only be, I think, either the pump, or it could be a bad oil pressure warning light. I've got a spare one, so that would be ideal if it was that. It's not the end feed seal, because that's sitting on there properly and it's a relatively new seal. So the only other thing it could be, if we exclude all those, is it could be, the big end shells. I mean, this hasn't got main bearing shells, so that's all right. And I don't think it's that. It's not, the engine's not noisy or anything like that, or rattling, and it doesn't sound like it. So we've got that to deal with. The clutch, the reason why it's so highly geared in first. So we've got quite a bit to do to this. The other thing as well is that it is still leaking a bit of oil from the cam tunnel here. There is an O-ring in the surrounding the cavity, but it's just not tightened down enough, I think, so I've got that to do. But we have cured other things, like the oil leak from the bottom of from the union of the pipe that goes up to feed the cylinder head down near the crankcase there. So but it is starting on the starter and running quite well. So, we are making progress. But over winter as well, what I want to do is something that really annoys me, and it's all my fault. And that is one of the exhaust pipes. I don't know if you can see it. This exhaust pipe, it's slightly kinked here. Ignore that spot of rubbish there. It's very slightly kinked there. And that's my fault, because when I was fitting these, I had to force it a little bit to get it to line up properly. And I didn't fill it with sand or anything, and all of a sudden it just went. And I'm annoyed with myself. But anyway, it's done now. It doesn't look bad, and if I hadn't told you about it, in fact, nobody's ever pointed it out to me or noticed, really. But anyway, what we've done recently this year with the work is we've got the timing done with, you know, the pattern auto advance unit made up by Bob. So thanks for that, Bob. It's working. And as I say, the timing's good. It's starting up and running well. And in fact, yeah, we've ridden it, albeit it's slipping the clutch in the gear and God knows what, but it was working. Right. There we go. Last thing to mention is that I'm not able to go to the Stafford show in October, nor the National Motorcycle Museum Open Weekend towards the end of October either, because I'm away. But I've been asked if I'll support the BSA Owners Club again at the NEC Classic Motor Show in early November. So I'm going to take a couple of bikes, and one of the things I'm thinking of doing is having a singles theme again, because one bike I've not mentioned is the BSA B50 SS, which is away in storage and waiting to be started, but it's still in one piece, so we can still display it with the B25 SS, and possibly with the help of Wes at the National Motorcycle Museum, if he loans us the P92 NVT B50 isolastic project in a bandit frame, then that might make, you know, a little sort of threesome of a theme. The singles, the last of the singles. Yeah, the last of the small Heath stroke. Where was the NVT one done? At Kitts Green, probably. And that's that. Oh, and there's one other thing, is that a gentleman has asked if I'll have a look at his Rocket 3, another one that needs, you know, a bit of an independent review. So I've tentatively said yes. So Rob, I haven't forgotten. And here's a pic of the bike just to show you before we leave this one there. So that might be coming in the next couple of weeks or so. And there's a history to it which is similar to this one, which is why I think I know what we need to do, which will be fairly major. Right, okay, everyone, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for your interest and any comments, any subscriptions. And I'll see you all again soon, pretty quickly, but I'm not sure what on, either this or an incoming Rocket 3. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.